So, why is Fayetteville the only place that Foolish could take place in? The only thing that felt right was Fayetteville. One of my favorite things about the Foolish series is the fact that within the world building, within the setting, where all of these things take place and the different places in which it takes place, these places are living, breathing characters. This is not like a regular thing where the character is informed by the setting and the place. It's actually the opposite. The setting and the place is informed by the character. It takes in the character's emotions, it takes in the character's struggles, it takes in the character's everything, and kind of mirrors it back to them. So it was very purposely done that when Soul found out that her parents had been unalived, she had to come home to Fayetteville. Why? Because in order for Soul to do what she needed to do, Soul needed to come home to herself. Breathe, relax, deep into this breath, deep into this, Hey, Bookie Butt, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am Mecca, and we are here to do day 4 of the 31 Days of Foolish series that I am doing during Hoodoo Heritage Month, where I'm talking about my Hoodoo fiction novel, Foolish. And today, we are talking about one of the most important characters in this book, Faytteville, North Carolina. Before y'all get into my comments talking about Met, it's not a character, it's a setting, it's a place. Faytteville is a character. Also, side note, I feel like I have to say that, number one, I'm doing this video off the top of the dome, okay? So, Jesus, let's hope there's some form and some organization. But I've also noticed in my process of filming that I like these videos a lot much more when they are just off the top of the dome, because it feels like I'm just having a conversation with y'all, right? So let me know if y'all like that type of format, if y'all like just the cousin chit chat, you feel me? But let's get into this video. So I feel like in order for me to really connect the dots and the bridge between Fayetteville and Foolish, I have to go back. And at first I was going to start in 2009 when I moved to Fayetteville as an adult, but I feel like I almost have to go back further than that, because 2009 was not my introduction to Fayetteville. My introduction to Fayetteville was actually when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and my aunt and my uncle, who primarily raised me, were stationed in the Fort Bragg, Fayettville area. My uncle was either the 82nd or the 83rd Airborne, can't remember which one. But because of that, I spent a good majority of my summers in the Fayetteville, Fort Bragg area. I had no clue that as an adult that would be somewhere that I lived, because by the time I became an adult and my cousins became adults, they had far been removed from Fayetteville. I just always found that interesting. So let's fast forward to 2009. I am fresh out of high school. I graduated in 2008, so I'm almost a year post high school graduation. And my mother and some of my other family members were living in Fayetteville. I was living up north, did not want to be here anymore. So I was like, let me go home, okay? I don't know what I expected when I moved to Fayetteville. I just knew I wanted a fresh start. I was also in a very weird place in my life. I had just lost my grandfather, whom I was extremely close to, who also raised me, about 2 years prior to that. And I was not necessarily mourning yet, but the absence in the whole was felt. And because I couldn't understand why Big Sandals would take somebody who was so important to me at such a crucial point in my life, I had some questions for Big Sandals. We wasn't cool. I was questioning my faith. I was questioning who I was as a Christian. Up until that point, there was so much that I was questioning. And little did I know, Fayetteville would answer some questions. And at this point, I had already started to venerate my grandfather. I didn't know that's what it was called, but I was just simply doing things. Like, I had pictures of him on the mirror in my dresser, and I would sit just with his energy and talk to him out loud sometimes, or talk to him in my journal. And those are all forms of veneration. Those are all forms of reverence. I'm not one of those people who was raised a hoodoo. Now, can I look back and see that some of the things that my grandfather taught me were hoodoo? Absolutely. But that's not an environment that I was necessarily purposely raised in. I didn't even know something like hoodoo or the word hoodoo even existed. Okay? And the reason that Fayetteville is always going to be very special to me is because that is where my spiritual awakening happened. which is why I said earlier, Fayetteville grew me. Fayetteville turned me into a fully fleshed out adult for the time being. And one of the things that got fleshed out while I was living there was my spirituality. Fayetteville is where I kind of left jazz behind and the rough draft of Mecca was born. So why is Fayetteville the only place that Foolish could take place in? Well, I mean, if you watched the 3 prior videos, which if you didn't, I'm linking them up here and I'm linking them down so you can go watch it, go get caught up. But in the past videos, I talked a lot about how soul is me, I am her, we are we, and we're just entangled that way. And when I thought about a place and when I thought about a setting, the only thing that felt right was Fayetteville. It's where I found Hoodoo, it's where Hoodoo found me, and it's where I was able to answer a lot of questions about my beliefs, about my faith, and about my spirituality in some of the same ways that Soul is having to do within Foolish. One of my favorite things about the Foolish series is the fact that within the world building, within the setting, where all of these things take place and the different places in which it takes place, these places are living, breathing characters. This is not like a regular thing where the character is informed by the setting and the place. It's actually the opposite. The setting and the place is informed by the character. It takes in the character's emotions, it takes in the character's struggles, it takes in the character's everything and kind of mirrors it back to them. So it was very purposely done that when Soul found out that her parents had been unalived, she had to come home to Fayetteville. Why? Because in order for Soul to do what she needed to do, Soul needed to come home to herself, literally and figuratively. Just like Soul, I needed to come somewhere where I could fully face myself without the guardrails, without the little skate scooter. Like, I needed somewhere where I could be hands off and really truly face me in ways that I had never faced myself before. And Fayetteville allowed me to do that just as well as it allowed Soul to do that. And as we get deeper into the series, I hope that you are able to witness some of Fayetteville's charm, some of Fayetteville's seduction, and just some of the woo-woo that's in the air. Because Fayetteville is a very, very close-knit kept secret. A lot of people wouldn't think Hoodoo in Fayetteville, but oh baby. Fayetteville introduced me to a lot. And by a lot, I mean it introduced me to myself. And so because of that, I will always and forever have love in my heart for Fayetteville. Always. And you'll see in the book that this is a place that continues and will always continue to be revisited. I don't care how far Soul and the other characters go. I don't care how long they stay there. They're always going to come back to Fayetteville. And there is a reason for that. So I hope that gives you a deeper understanding of Faytteville. And let me know in the comments, what do you think and how do you feel about the setting being an actual character in the book? And I bring your ass back here. Before you go ahead and click off this video, make sure you hit that underneath a bar, hit down stars, and go ahead and get your copy of Foolish. I am currently writing Foolish 3, Foolish 1, and Foolish 2 is out, and you're going to want to get caught up. Also, I am writing short stories, short side stories about characters within the Foolish realm, backstory, and all of that over on Substack. Both Substacks can be found downstairs. My More Max Substack is more of a author's journey, whereas I'm posting the stories over on the Curated Vibe Substack. So make sure you go over there and don't just check out my stories. Check out the other creators and contributors who are over there sharing some dope work. And maybe you could be a contributor too. We'll talk about that in another video. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for kicking it with me and learning a little bit more about Fayetteville. I will see you in the next video. Be great, get bread, stay all the way live, and with everything being said, you know, have the Hoodoo Heritage Month that you conjure. Peace.